Good morning and good evening to all of you. I welcome all the members to the 76th Annual General Meeting. I'm Rishad Premji, Chairman of Wipro Limited. I hope all of you are keeping well. This meeting is being conducted through video conference as per circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and the Securities and Exchange Board of India. The requisite quorum being present through video conferencing, the meeting is properly constituted and I call this meeting to order. Before we start the proceedings of the meeting, let me introduce you to the persons sitting on the dais with me. To my right is Mr. Azim Premji, Mr. Bill Owens, Ms. Irina Vittal, Mr. Deepak Satvelikar, Ms. Tulsi Naidu. And to my left is Jatin Dalal, our CFO, Mr. Thierry Delaporte, our CEO and Managing Director, Dr. Patrick Ennis, Patrick Dupuy, and our Company Secretary, Mr. Sanaullah Khan. In addition, Mr. Vikas Bagaria, Partner, Deloitte Haskins & Sells LLP Statutory Auditor, and Mr. V. Sridharan and Mr. Pradeep Kulkarni from V. Sridharan & Associates, Secretarial Auditor, have also joined us today. I request Sana, Company Secretary, to read the arrangements made for the members at the 76th Annual General Meeting. Sana.
Dear shareholders, welcome to the 76th Annual General Meeting of Wipro Limited. This meeting is being held through video conferencing mode as mentioned by Rishad in accordance with the circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and the SEBI Listing Obligations and Disclosure Requirements Regulations 2015. The company has enabled the members to participate at the 76th Annual General Meeting through the video conferencing facility. The proceedings of this annual general meeting are also being webcasted live for all the members as per the details provided in the notice to the annual general meeting. The proceedings of this meeting are being recorded for compliance purposes. In accordance with the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and the SEBI listing regulations, the members have been provided the facility to exercise their right to vote by electronic means, both through remote e-voting and e-voting at the annual general meeting. Remote e-voting facility has been made available to all members holding shares as on the cutoff date, that is July 12, 2022. During the period commencing from 9 a.m. IST on Friday, July 15, 2022 till 5 p.m. IST on Monday, July 18, 22. Remote e-voting has been blocked on July 18, 22 at 5 p.m. Members joining the meeting through video conferencing mode who have not already cast their vote by means of remote e-voting may vote through InstaPoll e-voting facility provided at this meeting. The members who have cast their vote by remote e-voting prior to the AGM shall not be entitled to cast their vote once again. The Board of Directors has appointed Mr. V. Sridharan, who is a partner of V. Sridharan and Associates, as the scrutinizer for this annual general meeting. Based on the report of the scrutinizer, the combined results of the remote e-voting and the e-voting done at the meeting today will be announced and displayed on the website of the company and will also be submitted to the stock exchanges as per the requirements under the SEBI listing regulations. I now request Mr. Rishad Premji, Chairman, to continue with the proceedings of the meeting.
Thanks, Sana. I am satisfied that all the efforts feasible under the circumstances have been made by the company to enable members to participate and vote on the items being considered at this meeting. Before we take up the items as per the notice, I would like to share with our shareholders the performance of the company during financial year 21-22 and the general outlook for the IT sector. So once again, welcome to all of you to this 76th Annual General Meeting. And again, on behalf of the Board of Directors, I extend all of you a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us today. Financial year 21-22 was a momentous year for us at Wipro. We crossed the $10 billion mark in revenue this year. When I look back at the journey of Wipro that we have traveled in these last 77 years, from a tiny oil mill in Amalner in Western India to a global technology company with presence in over 66 countries and employing nearly 250,000 people today, I feel humbled, but also immensely proud that we have managed to reach here on a bedrock of strong values. Overall, we had a fantastic year, and I want to thank Thierry and the entire Wipro team for this solid performance. In the last 2 years, under Thierry's leadership, Wipro has seen a new direction while building on our strong legacy and core strengths of the organization. Let me quickly share some highlights of the year gone by. Revenue grew 27.3% year on year in reported currency. We also ended the year with strong order booking and closed 37 large deals in TCV of over $2.3 billion US. For the full year, the EPS was rupees 22.35 per share, up 17% year on year, and the operating cash flows were at 110.8 billion rupees, which was at 90.7% of our net income. Our gross cash was at $4.6 billion, and our net cash was at $2.6 billion. Our payout through buyback and dividends, including dividend distribution tax to our shareholders for the year financial year 22 on a trailing 3-year basis was 81.6% of our net income. Wipro was born in an uncertain time. The Second World War had just ended and India was still under colonial rule. Not only did we overcome those hardships, we grew stronger, bigger, and more resilient in these years to come. We are going through another period of uncertainty in the world today. The pandemic is not yet over, inflation is soaring, an armed international conflict is underway, and we are staring at a huge climate and energy crisis. And yet, I remain optimistic because I believe that great upheavals carry within them seeds of great possibilities. The fact that we had a COVID vaccine within a year of the outbreak and that 2/3 of the world's population has already received at least one dose of the vaccine is a testament to this belief. COVID has changed our relationship with technology forever. Driven by the pandemic, all of us, individuals and businesses, have discovered new ways to work together at scale with technology. This tectonic shift in the adoption of technology has impacted every customer we serve in every industry in the world. Demand for digital, cloud, data, and cybersecurity services is growing and will continue to grow as more and more of our customers adapt to the new world order. And so, despite some elements of uncertainty in the short term, the long-term prospects of the technology industry services industry look very good. We at Wipro are doing everything we can to seize this moment. As enterprises adopt digital business models, they face significant challenges in navigating a complex ecosystem with multiple providers that are difficult to manage. They need an end-to-end transformation partner to orchestrate digital transformation for them. This is where we intend to play. We have completely transformed our structure and our operating model. We have gone from being industry organized to being market organized, supported by our global capability units. We have added new talent across the board, with particular emphasis on women leaders. Our leadership team is more diverse now. We have several new leaders who bring in a fresh mindset, even as many leaders in the top 200 mark a decade or more at Wipro. We are much more growth obsessed than before. We are driving deep strategic partnerships with the hyperscalers and increasing our focus on large deals. We have also invested in a chief growth office function and changed the seniority and maturity of our sales leaders. We have also invested significantly in acquisitions, either to gain market access or to acquire new capabilities. We completed 6 acquisitions in the last few quarters: Capco, our largest ever acquisition, Ampion, Lean Swift, Agile, the CAS Group, and most recently in May of this year, Rising. Each acquisition fulfills a different piece of the puzzle, creating new synergies and differentiators for us in key strategic markets and deepening our consulting domain expertise in high growth industries. Cloud is at the core of most transformation initiatives with a significant headroom for growth in the coming years. We have long been a cloud services pioneer. We are now investing $1 billion in Wipro Full Stride Cloud Services over the next few years to deliver an orchestrated transformation that accelerates business results for clients. We will continue our investments to build capabilities and acquire market-leading talent in strategic growth areas, whether they be cyber, data, AI, and our engineering business. The future of technology is exciting and opportunity-rich. We are accelerating our investments in Top Coder, our crowdsourcing platform, and in emerging areas such as the metaverse, Web 3.0, robotics, self-learning AI, and privacy systems. We're also very proud of our culture and values. It is a huge differentiator for us, and it is important that people experience it. To me, culture represents the soul of the organization. Reinforcing our values and assimilating people in our culture become even more important given that a significant percentage of our organization is new to the company and that we continue to work in a hybrid model. And so my personal focus remains on people. I spend a lot of time talking to our top 200 leaders one-on-one, as well as meeting groups of employees in virtual sessions. One of the things we are driving is the 5 habits. Our big learning is that people don't experience our values, they experience our behaviors. They experience the way things happen, implicitly and explicitly, inside an organization, through which they interpret our values. The 5 habits takes our values closer to our people, as I have discussed personally with over 29,000 of our Wipro colleagues over 96 sessions, spending over 300 hours. We at Wipro believe our story is also deeply connected to our communities. 66% of the economic interest of Wipro is irrevocably pledged for philanthropy through the efforts of the Azim Premji Foundation. And so your company is majority owned by a philanthropic institution. The foundation works tirelessly to create at scale institutionalized changes in the quality of education in India. It also works with vulnerable groups in the areas of health, nutrition, governance, and livelihoods. One of the biggest challenges facing the world today is climate change. We are already witness to its various manifestations. This year, for example, saw the hottest April and May in large parts of North India, while Bangalore saw the rainiest summer in decades. There is a heat wave in Western Europe, wildfires in France and Spain, a drought in Italy, and record-breaking high temperatures in large parts of the US. While it's encouraging to see governments, business, and civil society step up to the challenge, much needs to be done. Wipro's climate change program goes back 15 years, and over the years has evolved into a mature yet dynamically responsive set of initiatives. In April of 2021, we announced our goal of achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2040 for all 3 scopes, that is scope 1, 2, and 3. We have a clear roadmap for the short and medium terms with targets of 100% renewable energy and 100% electric mobility by 2030. We were one of the first 7 companies globally to have their net zero targets validated by Science Based Targets Initiative, or SBTi. I'm proud that we are well positioned to meet our goals, with renewable energy comprising close to 50% of our total electricity footprint in India today. We plan to rapidly scale this up in the 3 years through appropriate investments. Our focus remains on deep decarbonization of our own value, all aspects of our work, and encouraging all Wiproites to be their authentic selves at all times. Our inclusion and diversity journey is an ongoing effort, working constantly on various pillars of inclusivity. Various programs and initiatives have helped us to nearly double the gender diversity at a senior leadership level in the company in financial year 22. And overall, as a company, we are at 36.1% gender diversity. To foster a safe place for the LGBTQ employees and protect them from bias and discrimination, we launched the Global Prevention of LGBTQ Discrimination Policy last year. We also took several steps to advance an inclusive work environment for Black employees, from introducing a holiday on Martin Luther King Day to strategically recruiting from historically Black colleges and universities. In closing, I want to acknowledge that the Indian IT industry and Wipro have come a long way, and we are today a true partner to our clients, helping them navigate to a digital economy and working on their most important strategic and business priorities. This financial year has been a momentous year for Wipro, and I would like to express my gratitude to our clients, our partners, our employees, our shareholders, and other stakeholders for reposing their trust and confidence in us. I am incredibly excited about the progress we've made, the path we are on, and confident of building on this incredible momentum. Thank you again. So before we start the proceedings, I also want to invite Thierry Delaporte to share a few opening comments. So Thierry, over to you.
Thank you, Michelle. This year, our meeting can be in person. While that is not the case just yet, I'm joining you today live from our campuses in Bangalore, along with some of our board members. This annual general meeting is special for me, as I actually complete 2 full years leading Wipro. It's been a privilege and an honor to lead this exceptional company. Today, Wipro is an industry leader in the IT services space, and Wipro is also a force for good in our community. Especially during the great hardships brought on by the COVID-19 crisis, we led with a people-first mindset, and I'm proud of that. As a business, we have made incredible strides in the fiscal year 2022. We started realizing the benefits of our transformation strategy. We began to move the needle on every yardstick we set out for ourselves. We became a $10 billion company. And finally, we recorded our fastest ever revenue growth in absolute terms. Not surprisingly, we ended the year with the most robust order pipeline ever. Despite a very challenging labor market, we added new talent at a record pace, reaching a global employee base of over 240,000 colleagues around the world. These results reflect the success of our bold growth strategy, our single-minded focus on value creation for our clients, and most importantly, the unwavering dedication of our colleagues. This will not change going into the future as well, especially as technology investments grow in the coming years. We expect businesses to increasingly turn to cloud-based technologies and digital tools to enable an increasingly dispersed global workforce, but also to enhance enterprise agility and speed of innovation to better prepare for the future. And as companies become more sophisticated in their use of the cloud, and as they start to understand its benefits, we expect the demand for our services to remain strong. Sure, the backdrop today is a bit uncertain. We are all watching closely the rising economic headwinds, the conflict in Europe, increasing inflation, and emerging food shortages across the globe. In this weather, we know what we must do. We will stay focused on our clients, on our service quality. We will stay focused on our employees and our stakeholders, because we are, above everything else, a people business. In the fiscal year 2022, we ramped up investment in certain part of our business. We made upfront investment so that we can capitalize on the growth opportunities in the market and strengthen our position as a trusted advisor to our clients. We invested in a well-planned and strategic organic capabilities and prioritized certain inorganic investments. Those decisions are allowing us today to offer our clients seamless solutions and world-class expertise. Those decisions are letting us help them realize the most ambitious business and technology transformation goals. Cloud is one such area. We continue to invest in our cloud transformation capabilities because cloud migration and cloud-based business models are becoming more of the standard. We launched Wipro FullStride Cloud Services to bring together our portfolio of cloud offerings, talent, capabilities, and Cloud Studio. Wipro FullStride Cloud Services realizes our vision of being a value orchestrator, someone that seamlessly blends capability and thinking from business and technology and helps clients transform or realize new business opportunities. We significantly expanded our cybersecurity capabilities as well. We acquired 2 consultancies, Agile in the US and Ampion in Australia. Both these acquisitions set us up pretty well in the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The closure of our largest acquisition to date, Capco, was a very important milestone last year. Capco's consulting capabilities and domain expertise have proved to be invaluable additions to our banking, financial services, and insurance offerings. The addition of Capco now allows us to deliver a full spectrum of services in this sector, from consulting and strategy to technology development and implementation. I'm pleased to share that Capco recorded a strong double-digit growth this fiscal year 2022, and we signed over 60 joint client wins across all our markets. Overall, we completed 6 acquisitions in the last few quarters, Capco, but also Ampion, LeanSwift, Agile, Chaos Group, and most recently, Rising. Every acquisition fills a different piece of the puzzle, creating new synergies and differentiators for us in key strategic markets, but also deepening our consulting expertise in high-growth industries. Another investment area has been talent. We have continued to invest in people, and we've added over 45,000 new employees on a net basis in the fiscal year 2022. This was the highest ever net talent addition Wipro has seen. Being a global company, we believe our strength comes from our ability to tap into a world of diverse views, of diverse thinking, backgrounds, experience. So, I am proud to report that in fiscal year 2022, ethnic diversity of our senior leadership improved by 24 percentage points. And we have almost double gender diversity in the leadership bands. We know that career progression and development is important for our people. So to help our colleagues realize their ambitions, we revamped our promotion cycle and incentive programs. We created new learning tools. We launched new training programs to help our people stay up to date on latest professional and technical developments. These investments matter. Today, more and more top talent from around the world are keen to join Wipro. I'm proud to see that Wipro is an employer of choice for top technology talent. When I meet clients, partners, I hear from them that they are noticing a major shift in our client-facing teams. They say they are noticing agility, confidence, thought leadership, and quality in our people more and more. Our people will always be our greatest asset. We will continue to invest in their development so they can deliver the cutting-edge thinking and solutions that our clients expect from us. Now, let me share with you how we are accelerating our transformation journey. In the fiscal year 22, we achieved significant successes in all aspects of our strategy. We delivered ahead of expectations on several parameters. To accelerate growth, we prioritized specific sectors in our chosen markets. We invested in building solutions in areas where we see strong growth potential, and doubled down on strategic sectors where we already have solid market presence. Banking and financial services is one such area where we're growing our strengths and brand as a preferred partner for consulting, technology, and digital transformation services. Another sector where we see strong growth potential is technology, media, telecommunications. The acquisition of CAS Group will actually allow us to bring specialized expertise, strategy consulting, and program management capabilities to large-scale business and technology transformation projects in this sector, while increasing our client base in the Fortune 100 segment. Our focused and careful strategy has led to robust revenue growth, not only in our top market, the US, but also across Europe, where we've experienced a remarkable 39% growth. We also made significant strides in strengthening our partnerships, and we added more than half a dozen new clients with engagement exceeding $100 million each. It helps that we are increasingly shaping our client approach to lead with business solutions and investing in areas that are critical to their success. Last year, we continued to build out our AI and data analytics capabilities, leveraging over 2 decades of analytics experience. Today, over 30,000 Wiproites are focused on delivering big data, AI, and innovation capabilities across the globe. We made exceptional progress in strengthening our frontline sales and leadership teams in local markets. And this has allowed us to deepen client relationship and better understand local challenges. We're also continuing to expand our talent cloud through our Top Coder platform. Top Coder is turning into a significant competitive advantage for us in an environment where most companies are struggling to find the tech talent they need to deliver digital solutions at scale. In terms of business performance now, in fiscal year 2022, we crossed revenue of $10.4 billion, a significant milestone that represents a 27% growth in constant currency terms, and an addition of $2.2 billion in revenues for the year. Our order bookings in annual contract value terms grew 30% year on year. We delivered profitability of 17.7% in the year 2022, despite significant investments in solutions, capabilities, and talent, adjusted for Capco, our largest acquisition. This will be well above the pre-pandemic margin levels. Our net income in absolute terms was the highest ever, which grew by over 13%. Earnings per share expanded by 17% for the full year. We also had a robust operating cash flow generation of 110.8 billion INR, which is 90.7% of net income for the year. But as you all will know, especially those of you who have been part of the company for many years, Wipro is more than just a business. We've always operated with integrity and purpose and believed that our company has an important role to play in society. Wipro has always had a strong commitment to values and purpose. We've conducted business responsibly and stood by the principles of democracy, justice, and equality. As one of the only companies that gives back 2/3 of its earnings to its communities, our shared sense of purpose is one of the main drivers of our success. We had acknowledged the impact of climate change on our society many years back. We had therefore incorporated environmental, social, and governance, or ESG principles, into our core business. As a founding member of Global Transformation to Net Zero Initiative, we are fully committed to reducing our greenhouse gas emissions to zero by 2040. I am proud to state that our long history of commitment to our communities, employees, and to the environment continues to be a distinct and critical differentiator for us in the market. This will become even more important as stakeholders increasingly focus on responsible business in the coming years. The past 2 years have been truly transformative for Wipro. The changes we made to our operations and organizational structures, as well as the new capabilities we built, are changing how the market and clients see us. Clients are now turning to us to help them realize some of their boldest business and technology transformation goals. They are looking to us to design new solutions, to orchestrate across ecosystems, so they can act with agility and innovation they need. Reflecting this significant transformation in our market position, we recently launched a new brand campaign that speaks to who we've become to our clients and stakeholders. Ambitions realized. Our new brand campaign is a culmination of our transformation, and I believe it will become a guiding light for where we go from here. So, as we kick off fiscal year 2023, we remain committed to helping our clients, employees, partners, and stakeholders realize their biggest ambitions and transform their most complex challenges. Before I close, I want to thank our employees across the globe who show up every single day with passion, energy, and commitment. I would also like to thank you all for your continued trust in us. Thank you. Back to you, Michelle.
Thanks, the notice of the 76th Annual General Meeting and the annual report containing audited financial statements, including the consolidated financial statements for the year ended March 31st, 2022, and the boards and auditors' reports have been sent by electronic mode to those members whose email addresses are registered with the company or depositories. These documents have also been made available on the company's website. Considering the above, the notice is being taken as read. The Register of Directors' Shareholding, Register of Contracts, copies of audited financial statements, etc., are available for inspection to the members. Members seeking to inspect such documents can send an email to corp-secretarial@wipro.com. Deloitte Haskins & Sells LLP, statutory auditors, have submitted their report for the financial statements for the year ended March 31st, 2022. The auditor's report does not contain any qualifications, modified opinion, or adverse remarks. There being no qualifications, the entire report is not required to be read in this meeting, and the auditor's report is being taken as read. In terms of the notice of the 76th Annual General Meeting, the following items of ordinary business are to be considered. 1. To receive, consider, and adopt the audited financial statements of the company, including the consolidated financial statements for the financial year ended March 31st, 2022, together with the reports of the directors and auditors thereon. To confirm that the interim dividend of rupees 1 per equity share declared by the board on January 12th, 2022, and rupees 5 per equity share declared by the board on March 25th, 2022, as the final dividend for the financial year 21-22. To consider appointment of a director in place of Mr. Azim Premji, DIN number 0023428, who retires by rotation and being eligible offers himself for reappointment. And 4, to consider and approve reappointment of Deloitte Haskins and Sells LLP, chartered accountants as statutory auditors of the company, and to fix their remuneration. We will be glad to answer any questions which any member may like to ask on the financial statements or other matters. The Instapoll e-voting facility will now be activated for members who are participating in this meeting and have not already voted through remote e-voting. The Instapoll facility will remain active till 30 minutes after the meeting. Before we commence the Q&A session, we will play a short video on the branding that Thierry just talked about. Thank you. I request Sanaullah Khan, Company Secretary, to share a few guidelines for the Q&A session. So, Sana, over to you.
Thank you, Rishad. In order to ensure smooth interaction and participation, we request the shareholders to note the following guidelines for the Q&A session. The Q&A session will be anchored by me, and I'll call the pre-registered speaker shareholders to come one by one and ask their questions. I will invite the speakers in the batches of 5, and we will answer those 5 questions before moving on to the next batch of 5 speaker shareholders. Members are requested to unmute their microphone before speaking and also enable webcam if they wish to appear on the video. Members are requested to mention their name, folio number, and location. Members are requested to restrict their questions to 2 minutes so that all speaker shareholders will get an opportunity to share their views. In the interest of time, I request members not to repeat questions raised by the previous speakers. It may be noted that the company reserves the right to limit the number of shareholders asking questions depending upon the availability of time at this annual general meeting. I now request Mr. Sadanand Shastri to ask this question. Mr. Sadanand Shastri, request you to ask your question. Please unmute your microphone and switch on your video. Yes, Mr. Shastri, we can see you. Please go ahead.
Is it audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing me?
Yes.
Okay, I will start now. Good morning, sir. I am Sadananda Shastri from Bangalore. My number is 1170-2201. Sir, coming to the report, page number 13, company has shown 27% growth even in the pandemic period. But however, the market value of the shares is diminishing from 620 rupees to 390 rupees. What is the reason? There is a rumor that the company is declaring bonus shares. Is this the reason for diminishing the value of shares? Sir, Chairman, sir, you have said in your message, historical milestone. Of course, even then the company is losing bit image in the market. Why? Page number 47, general and administration expenses. That is, it is increasing by 33%. Is on the higher side. We feel it is because of the extension of higher emoluments to certain category of executives. Is it fact? Page number 49, IT services. You have shown other operating income growth to the extent to 2,800%. Whether it would be a regular income here afterwards. Page number 50, IT products are backbone to the company. Here, there is a concern about the negative growth to the extent of 1,512 million. What is the reason? Page number 72, COVID-19 response. Company has given courteous look towards the COVID patients by building hospital. It brings a special image to the company. Thank you very much for that. Page number 85, natural capital. Company has undertaken urban biodiversity projects, especially Butterfly Park, to cool the climate and a small contribution to lessen the global warming. Why can't you put these projects in all urban cities? Page number 90, board's report. You have acquired 8 companies. Can you confirm that all these are profit-making one? Page number 100, remuneration to the managerial. That is increase of salary and allowances to managerial staff. It is a setback to the positive growth results of the company. 80 crores to CEO is being questioned by the public. Nowadays, CEO from other countries have become costly. Why can't the company explore the possibility of finding inland CEO? Page number 147. In first phase balance sheet, investments, all of a sudden, there is an increase of 83,500 million. Whether these are forced investment or voluntary investment. Page number 221, CPS, that is consolidated balance sheet. In trade receivables, credit impaired and dispatched are to the extent of 8,000 million. Whether all these are loss assets for the current year. Page number 148, SBS, that is standalone balance sheet. Even though borrowings are increased by 18,700 million, the finance cost is in reduction to the extent of 352 million. Why? What is the reason? Page number 293, lastly, you have 140 subsidiaries, out of which 52 are under loss. The maximum loss is in item number 51, that is capital market company, 694 million. What is this company's strategy to bring these to positive? Thank you very much, sir. See you in next year in cafeteria Wipro. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shastri. I now request Ms. Mansi Bihani to switch on her mic and the camera and ask your question, ma'am. Ms. Mansi Bihani, shareholder. I request Ms. Jasbir Purvankara, since Ms. Mansi is not coming online, I request Ms. Jasbir A. Purvankara to switch on the mic and the camera and ask your question.
Yes. Hi, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Premji. I'm Jasbir Purvankara, member of the Millennium Mams Bangalore chapter and an honored shareholder of the company. I would first like to mention that I'm extremely gratified to learn that Wipro's management team is diverse, with many women now holding top positions in the company. Mr. Premji, I have two questions for you today. Digital economy is the buzzword in today's day and age, with India targeting to reach $1 trillion economy. This is a big opportunity for established companies like Wipro. How is Wipro poised to participate in this huge surge? My second question to you is, our Honorable Prime Minister has made an announcement of India becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2027. Where do you see Wipro in 2027? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Ms. Mansi Bihani to come onto the screen and ask your question, please. We are unable to get Ms. Mansi Bihani. Ms. Mansi Bihani, are you online?
So now let's move to the next one, please.
Okay, we'll now request Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf to come on to the screen and ask your question, Mr. Saraf.
नमस्कार, मेरी आवाज आ रही होगी सर?
हाँ जी सर, प्लीज गो अहेड.
हाँ, माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, उपस्थित निर्देशकों सदस्य और मेरे शेयर होल्डर भाइयों बहनों, मैं संतोष कुमार सराफ कलकत्ता से आप सभी को नमस्कार करता हूँ. आशा करता हूँ आप जितने भी अधिकारीगण हैं, जितने भी हमारे शेयर होल्डर भाई बहनों जो प्रेजेंट है, डायरेक्टर प्रेजेंट है, उसमें अच्छे स्वास्थ्य होंगे सर. मैं मैनेजमेंट को धन्यवाद देता हूँ बहुत अच्छा रिजल्ट देने के लिए. इसके लिए भी धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि उन्होंने 8 एक्विजिशन किए कंपनी की ग्रोथ को बढ़ाने के लिए, उसके लिए भी धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर. और डिविडेंड बहुत अच्छा दिया, इसके लिए भी धन्यवाद देता हूँ मैं सर. सर मेरा एक प्रश्न है कि एक तो 36% वुमेन एम्प्लॉई सर, इसको रेशियो को और बढ़ाने के लिए क्या कदम उठा रहे बताने का पड़ेगा सर. एक डिसेबल एम्प्लॉई 705 है सर, काफी कम है. 0.03% टोटल एम्प्लॉयमेंट का है सर. इसके बारे में बताने का, इसको भी आगे बढ़ाने के लिए क्या करना बताने सर. सर ये जितने 2,47,000 एम्प्लॉई हैं, इनको क्या पैटर्निटी और मैटरनिटी बेनिफिट की सुविधा है कि नहीं है, ये भी बताइएगा सर. हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस और एक्सीडेंट इंश्योरेंस की बेनिफिट है कि नहीं है, ये भी बताने का करिएगा सर. और सर एक ग्रीन एनर्जी सोर्स के लिए क्या कदम उठा रहे हैं, ये भी बताने का करिएगा सर. एक सर अपनी जो पॉलिसी ई वेस्टेज डिस्पोजल के लिए वो क्या है, किस तरह अपने ई वेस्टेज डिस्पोजल करते हैं, जो अपने ये भी बताने का करिएगा सर. एक सर रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग के लिए और सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक के लिए क्या कदम उठाए हैं, स्टॉक करने के लिए, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक स्टॉक करने के लिए रेन वाटर क्या कदम उठाए, ये भी बताने का करिएगा सर. फ्यूचर में अपने कोई न्यू एक्विजिशन का प्लान हो तो बताइएगा, और न्यू फ्यूचर में अपने और क्या प्लान कर रहे हैं जिससे कंपनी की ग्रोथ बढ़े सर. और सर जितने भी एम्प्लॉई हैं, मैं भी आज कोविड से ग्रस्त हूँ सर, तो मैं चाहूँगा जितने भी एम्प्लॉई हैं उनको बूस्टर डोज दी जाए. ये जो 3rd जगह भी फ्री अवेलेबल है 75 दिन के लिए, तो आप कोई कैंप्स लगा के या गवर्नमेंट से कंटेक्ट करके जितने भी एम्प्लॉई उनको बूस्टर तो आज दी जाए तो बढ़िया होगा सर. और ज़्यादा मैं समय न लेते हुए मैं सिर्फ एक बार फिर आप सभी के अच्छी लंबी उम्र की कामना करता हूँ. जितने भी हमारे डायरेक्टर हैं, जितने भी अधिकारीगण हैं, और जितने भी हमारे शेयर होल्डर भाई बहन और कर्मचारी आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग उनके परिवार की लंबी उम्र की कामना करता हूँ. भगवान से हाथ जोड़ के प्रार्थना को, भगवान 2022-23 का जो फाइनेंशियल ईयर है सबके लिए वेल्दी, हेल्दी, प्रॉस्परस और सेफ्टी के साथ व्यतीत हो. सर ये वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग काफ़ी अच्छा है, तो फ्यूचर में अगर इसको कंटिन्यू रखें तो काफ़ी अच्छा होगा. लेकिन फिजिकल मीटिंग आप अपने कैंपस में करते हैं तो मैं आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट है सर, उसके हिसाब से 15 से 20 मिनट का वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस भी रखिए. फिजिकल वाले को पहले मौका चाहिए बोलने का, बाद में बाहर में जो पॉन इंडिया सेल होल्डर या कोई फॉरेन भी सेल होल्डर अपने बात करना चाहे तो उसके वीडियो को रजिस्ट्रेशन करिए, उनको मौका दीजिए। जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार सारे।
Thank you, Mr. Saraf. I now request Ms. Alka Karnani to come to ask her question. Yes, ma'am, we can see you. Are you able to hear me? We can't hear you, ma'am. Can you switch on your microphone, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, respected Chairman, sir. I'm Alka Karnani, a proud shareholder of the company and a member of Millennium Mams Kolkata chapter. On behalf of Millennium Mams, I would like to congratulate you for Wipro being recognized in the top leadership category in governance practices. Sir, during this growth phase of IT sector, the way demand is going up, there will be shortage of manpower, engineers, skilled workers in a big way. The Indian IT industry in the recent past has been dealing with an all-time high attrition rate of around averaging 25%. Sir, I would like to understand how will our company lower this attrition rate or retain the manpower? Second, how will you get new talent? Because if the money part remains the same, why will people join Wipro? Third, what type of comfort are you giving to your employees? Maybe ESOPs or emotional attachment with the company because of brand value system? Sir, can you please throw some more light on the same other than what you mentioned in your address? Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request the management team to provide their responses to the questions asked, and then we will move to the next set of questions by the shareholders.
Thank you, Sana. And thanks to all of you for asking your questions. I will try and answer as many of them and try and pass some of them on to other colleagues on the dais. So, Mr. Shastri, thank you for your questions. Your comment on the price of the share, that's not something we control. Our focus as a management team is to give the best performance. I think we've had an outstanding year last year. As you know, with everything happening in the economy, stock market is volatile holistically, and that's something that we are conscious of, but our focus is to deliver the best results for our customers and for our employees, and as a consequence of which, to our shareholders as well, by consistent good performance. The cost of G&A has gone up, and that is purposeful. It's gone up because we are intentionally investing in our market organizations, as we talked about and I talked about in my speech. We've invested in a chief growth office that is focused on building strong partnerships with our ecosystem partners, as well as focusing on helping us grow and build large deals. The IT products business is a focused business, and you will likely see lumpiness in the way that business unfolds. The intent of that business is to very strategically tie and drive product sale where it helps our overall services business. So it's an integral part of our IT services business, and by the nature of that business, you will see lumpiness in that overall business. Thank you for your comment on the COVID hospital. That was something that was incredibly important to us and something we remained very committed to. Almost 7,000 people had an opportunity to use the hospital, so I think it came to great use. We've just shut it down because there was limited use earlier this year. Our focus on sustainability holistically remains, so thank you for the comment on the urban butterfly park. We do other components of work in the cities that we work at through the Wipro Foundation. One of the efforts that we're driving, for example, in the city of Bangalore is helping clean up lakes. So while we're not doing butterfly parks, we are focused on other elements of sustainability through the Wipro Foundation in the location that we exist as a company. We don't comment specifically on the profit of specific M&As, but let me give you comfort that the M&As we've done and the 6 that we've talked about, both Thierry and I talked about, have done well for the company. They are tracking to plan, and we are seeing the benefits both organically for those M&As as well as through the synergies that we are able to bring together as Wipro and that particular M&A. the comment on remuneration for senior leaders, including the CEO, we think we benchmark this very closely to global standards and to our global competition, and we think it is very much commensurate and in line with our performance, as well as with where leaders of organizations of our size and repute are compensated. You had a couple of questions on investment and trade receivables, which I will let Jatin answer, and also a question on finance cost reduction as well as on the subsidiaries. Do you want to take that, and then I'll move to the next shareholder, Jatin?
Yes. So the increase in trade receivables is in line with the growth of the company. You have to also appreciate that we grew 27.3% in FY22, and therefore it is commensurate with the growth in the organization. Of our subsidiaries that you mentioned, some of them are exhibiting loss, but that is typically a result of portfolio approach, where a particular type of work or a particular contract in that particular quarter or year is loss making. But you have seen that on an aggregate basis, we have delivered a 17% earning per share growth that is collective success of all our operating entities, including some which may have been in loss for FY22. Over back to you.
Thanks. Jasbir, thanks for your questions. On your question on the digital economy, it is incredible how COVID has just accelerated the journey we find for customers across industries, across geographies, across sizes, to really sort of drive this very strong digital first agenda and the way they engage and interact with their customers. And our focus and play is how do we become this strong digital/ecosystem orchestrator that brings together for our customers both their existing world and their existing legacy, as well as all the new age capabilities that a slew of partners have to offer. And so how do you bring all of this together in a manner that is consumable inside of the organization and can return great value? So our mission is to how to become the choiced, preferred orchestrator, ecosystem and digital orchestrator for our customers. Look, it's an exciting time for the technology services industry, and it's an exciting time for Wipro. And we are very excited about the journey of transformation that we've been on over the last couple of years. I talked a lot about some of the components of that change. And so I remain, and we remain as a management team, incredibly excited about the opportunity of where the technology industry and where Wipro can go over the next 5 years, participating in this transformation of change that is happening world over. Mr. Sarafji, thank you for your comments. I will try. My Hindi is not very good, so I will try and answer some of your questions in English, but perhaps use a little bit of English. Thank you for your comment on women leaders. Hamari koshish hai ke we have 50% of leaders who are joining us from campus is 50%, and our big focus is how do we retain leaders as they move through the journey. We're driving a lot of programs to encourage women who are starting families, etc., to start again with the organization. Our big focus on the hybrid model is to be more inclusive. It is to allow people to have that option if they want the flexibility to work from home. It's also an objective to be more inclusive, even with people with disability as well as people in smaller towns. So I intend to try and leverage and continue with the hybrid model to be more inclusive is an important focus for us. As we also talked about, there's been a very purposeful focus on leadership for women, and we've almost doubled the percentage of leaders that we have in the company. We've hired over 50 leaders in the last year at Wipro who are women leaders for the organization. We do offer maternity benefits and we do offer paternity benefits for all people, both in India as well as in every market that we serve in. And as I mentioned, we are in 66 countries. That's something that's incredibly important. And we recently, in the last year, introduced paternity benefits as well. And this exists for same-sex partners as well. Our focus on, I will expand your comment on rainwater harvesting and talk more holistically. Our focus is holistic from a sustainability perspective, not only from a renewable energy, but from a waste and from a biodiversity perspective as well. Over 40% of the water we use on our campuses is reused water. As I mentioned, 50% of the power we use in our locations is renewable energy. Our intent is to go up to 100% of renewable energy by 2030 in all of our campuses in India. Our intent is to use 100% of electric mobility across all our campuses in India. A lot of our waste is repurposed as fuel, and about 40% of our fuel in our campuses again comes from this repurposed bio waste. So we're incredibly conscious, and this is a journey we've been on for the last 15 years, and it only strengthens every year as we move forward. I certainly cannot comment on new acquisitions, but I want you to rest assured that we continue to look for opportunities that make strategic sense, that either give us new market access or help enhance the capability that we have in a particular market. As you know, the government has announced publicly that over the next 75 days is a free booster dose, and we will booster dose certainly in India, and we will continue to encourage our employees to get that taken care of. And I want you to rest assured that we will certainly explore the idea of a hybrid conference, hybrid AGM next year if we do this in person, so that we can be much more inclusive and give the opportunity for people like yourself who may not be able to travel to Bangalore. Alka, thank you for your questions and for your recognition on our governance practices as well. Thierry, do you want to comment on the skilling and the attrition and sort of what we are doing on that?
Yeah, Alka, you're absolutely right that attrition has been a reality for pretty much every company in our industry, given the high demand driven from digital transformation and development of new operating model across industries. The demand for talent is such in every country, and in particular in India, that it has created a certain volume, an acceleration of attrition. It's not the biggest ever. We have known in different period of our industry peaks of attrition, and these are not absolutely not uncommon. We have been managing attrition pretty well over the last quarters. It has moderated and then started to slow down 2 quarters ago, and I think the trend is comforting, although we stay very focused on it. As you know, talent is our asset. It's all we have, really. It's all about talent. And so, obviously, actions in order to attract talent, but also retain talent and grow talent are incredibly strategic for us. We are working on it. It starts obviously with interesting job, true career opportunity, opportunity to learn new technology, opportunity to be exposed to new markets, to new clients, and really grow inside Wipro. It is obviously including financial aspects, but also a lot of aspects around, how to create a sense of community, a sense of belonging. The unique sense of purpose of Wipro is certainly helping us to create, more, cohesion inside our organization, and helps us moderate the level of attrition. But, we stay very focused, and we'll continue to make sure that, our people see their future at Wipro more than anywhere else. It is a reality as well that as we continue to grow, as this industry continue to be exposed to high demand, the demand for talent will continue to increase. And fortunately, the good news is that the potential of talent in India is quite exceptional. It's the best in the whole world. And, we continue to realize that, when we are welcoming talent freshers, so coming straight off universities, that we can grow, we can really develop outstanding talents. This year at Wipro, we will go for the most ambitious plan of acquisition of freshers, and that will certainly help us to continue to develop the talent that we will need for the future. Back to you, Rishad.
So now the next set of questions, please.
Yeah, thank you, Rishad, Jatin, and Thierry. I now request the next set of 5 shareholders, starting with Bharat Narvader, to come onto the screen, switch on your mic and ask a question. Bharat? Bharat, are you able to hear me? Bharat, we can't hear you. Your mic is, can you switch on your mic, please? Okay, I now request Ashit Kumar Pathak to come onto the screen. Yes, sir, we can see you, Mr. Pathak. Please ask.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible, Mr.
Yes.
Yes. Very good morning, respected founder chairman, Mr. Ajim H. Premji, present chairman, Mr. Rashid A. Premji, CEO, MD, Mr. Thierry Delopet, and board of directors, company secretary, and good evening overseas members joining at 76th AGM of Wipro Limited. My name is Ashit Kumar Pathak, joining from Damdam, Kolkata. My esteemed gratitude to Company Secretary Mr. M. Shanaullah Khan for sending me the notice of the annual report by email very well in advance and allow me to speak. Also, my esteemed gratitude to Secretarial Department for nicely conducting site verifications and continuous touch with member speaker. Excellent secretarial service. Sir, my only request for sending the hard copy of annual report before AGM for better to read in lieu of screen. This is my small request. Excellent and transparent representations by respected chairman and CEO ND. I have noted all the very valuable points, that is focus on customers, stakeholders, capitalized growth opportunity, $10 billion marks revenue, industry organized and also market organized, and future roadmap, and also ECG framework. I have already casted for all the 4 resolutions mentioned in the notice. Sir, I have brief views which I like to share. Financial performance, financial year 22 is excellent. Excellent, and $10 billion marks revenue financial year 22. And IT services revenue $10.4 billion. EPS also gone up 22.35 against 19.11. And market capitalization 221 lakhs crore. And book value is 119.49. And P ratio also 18.7. And share price yesterday 409.99. Excellent management services. I congratulate my company's management team also in respect to dividend and also buyback. Sir, regarding cost control, what steps my company taking? It mentioned IT services revenue increased by 29.1%, but operating margin 17.7 against 20.3. And also, sir, cost of revenue is increased by 31.3%. And selling and market expenditure expense 32.7. If possible, throw some highlights. In mentioned acquisition of Capco is a large deal and achieved double-digit growth financial year 22. Also 6 acquisition also incurred and TCV $2.3 billion mentioned. But the acquisition for the prospective for acquisition CS Group and Rising rupees 44,622 million in mentioned. If so possible, prospective highlights, where it mentioned by company's liquidity and capital requirements affected by many factors, normal ongoing operations and some which arise from uncertainties related global economics and market we target from our service. Also debt reduction policy. But debt is 1,51,696 millions against 83,332 millions previous year. And debt equity ratio, it is 0.23 against 0.15. Also, free cash flow to net income reduced to 17.
Mr. Saraf, in the interest of time, I request you to keep your questions brief, please. In the interest of time, can you please be brief in your question?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, in the CapEx program, next 3 years, building virtual lab, where metaverse widely regarded as the next phase of internet. But it mentioned will be worth of $1.5 trillion by 2030. And sir, in Commerce and Industries Ministry had inserted a new rule in SAGE under this 50% of employees can be WFH mode. So if any positive impact in our business operation, if possible, throw some highlights. Sir, CapEx program next to 3 years, where it mentioned increased demand on hyper-personalized production and services, next tech data and AI, mixed reality and digital engineering, blockchain, multi-cloud, and edge computing. Mostly cyber securities, where US suffered several major cyber attacks last year, and also a big demand in domestic market. If possible, throw some highlights about CapEx program in cyber security. Also, finally, my company's presence in 66 countries mentions, and Americas and UK are the large key focus market. But sir, current financial year, global economy is under stress. US retail inflation is 9.1% in June. Also, Americans to dig deeper to pay in higher inflation. And it may, the Federal Reserve may hike another 75 basis percent to battle inflation. So possible, through some highlights in business in global markets. Also, Indian rupees depreciation is better than other emerging economy.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Saraf.
possible, throw some highlights about ISRE business verticals.
Thank you.
Because that is comparatively down, 18.1%. And attrition matter, my previous speaker also mentioned. I do not repeat this. Thanking you, sir.
I now request the next speaker shareholder, Bindu Satish Chandra, to come onto the screen and ask her question. Ms. Bindu.
Good morning, respected Chairman. I'm Bindu Chandra, a proud shareholder of Wipro and a member of Millennium Mams Bangalore chapter. Congratulations, sir. We are very proud of Mr. Azim Premji, who has created a large philanthropic ecosystem. What are your main focus areas in philanthropy? We would also like to know the female to male workforce ratio in your company and on the board. We are also keen to know why we can't have more female directors in the company. Sir, we have had the opportunity of you address our forum last year. This time, we would like to invite you to our Millennium Man Investment Conclave in November. We would be grateful if we could learn more from you in person. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bindu. I now request Mr. Shashank Shekhar to switch on the microphone, switch on the camera and ask his question. Mr. Shashank.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, but we can't see you at this point in time. Your camera is on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, anyway, go ahead with your question.
Okay, so I would first like to thank all the board directors and respected chairman to sharing the growth plans and the future plans. I think most of my questions have been shared with my fellow shareholders, so I'll just be quick. My question is basically in the crypto space right now. So we have no standard architecture we are using in India. So what will be the plan if we are going to enter into crypto space, Web3 or any blockchain technologies? Yeah, basically this is the question. And I mean, basically what projects will be targeting in future to take part in this space, so we will have something by 2025.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shashank. I now request Mansi Bihani to come onto the screen and ask the question.
Good morning, respected Chairman and members of the board. I'm Mansi Bihani, a member of Millennium Mams Bangalore chapter and a shareholder of the company. My question to you is, the only way to grow in your industry is to acquire, but it comes at a high cost. So considering there is demand, how will you manage to sustain and deliver? So also costs are going up because of inflation, but client costs are going up too. Since IT is a discretionary spend and there is a slowdown all over the world, how would you tackle this slowdown? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mansi. I now request the management team to respond to the questions already asked while we get the other shareholders on board in the meantime.
Thank you. Thank you, Sana, and thank you to all of you for your questions. Mr. Patak, we had lots of questions. I'll try and answer as many of them as I can and that I was able to capture. Thank you for your recognition of our excellent secretarial services. Thank you also for your recognition of our excellent performance. As we mentioned and we talked about, that our focus has been on investing in the company over the last couple of years. We've invested significantly on our sales organization. We've invested strategically and smartly through M&A as well. But we remain equally focused about how do we manage cost. In our business, we manage cost through the pyramid, and there's been a very purposeful focus on how do we integrate more freshers into our business. As you will know, and as we've shared publicly, 2 years ago, we hired about 10,000 freshers from campus. Last year in financial year 21-22, we hired 20,000, and our objective is to nearly double that as we move into financial year 22-23 as well. So please rest assured that we're very focused on how do we manage cost, and cost is an important ingredient of our business model, as you would appreciate. You had some questions on capex, which I will let debt equity, which I will let Jatin answer in a second. We today work in a hybrid work model. Our offices across the world are open 3 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we are strongly encouraging our employees to come in, and some people choose to come in at the moment and some people don't. We are also working closely with government and with the industry association to ensure that we can work on a continuous basis in a hybrid model of work, which we think allows us to leverage talent better, to be more inclusive, as I mentioned, both with people who live in smaller towns and cities, but women who want flexibility as well as people with disabilities. So we will work and hope to continue working in a hybrid model of work. We remain focused on many of the new age technologies that you talked about, and cybersecurity is certainly an incredibly important practice for us that we are seeing a huge amount of relevance for exactly the reasons that you mentioned, where the world is getting much more and more digitally connected. It's a sizable scaled practice for us. We've acquired recently an asset, which is Agile, which brings us some cybersecurity consulting capabilities in that space. So it's an important area of focus for us as a company. Jatin, you want to touch on some of the other questions I may not have for this question set, and then I can...
Yes. So, Mr. Patak, I'll try and cover 3 questions specifically that you posed. One was on debt to equity ratio. As you know, we completed our largest acquisition ever in April 21, and we funded half of that roughly through our maiden US dollar denominated bond offering, an offering that was received very well. I am very happy to share that the cost of funds that we were able to lock in Q1 of last year has been a very, very wise decision given the interest rate hike since then. So that has resulted in the increase in the debt that you see in the balance sheet. That's the first question that I would like to answer. Second question on capex. As some of you know, we completed a large capex cycle for our investments in our development centers in India just before pandemic. So in fact, we are very well poised to, as we have grown, to leverage the investments that we completed by March 20. So we do not anticipate a large capex in India, but we will remain invested in creating experience centers, innovation centers, digital pods, cloud capability, cloud migration studios in our developed markets for our customers, and that would remain the focus of our capex. The third question was on how do we see the investments in agile and CAS, and both are very, very strategic. Sir, and specifically Thierry and Rishad both mentioned our focus, one on cybersecurity, which is represented in agile, and focus on domain, which is reflected in CAS. So we are very excited about those investments, and we hope that in 2023 we will see an excellent performance from that. Back to you, Rishad.
Thanks. Bindu, thank you for your questions. The comment on philanthropy, I just, as we mentioned, both Thierry and I mentioned in our opening comments, a sense of community is a very integral and important part of the company. I'll talk briefly about what the Wipro Foundation does. Most of the efforts of the Wipro Foundation are focused in urban settings around locations in which we exist as a company. We do a lot of work around education, so from rebuilding government schools to enhancing the capacity of government schools in urban settings, to work around healthcare, to work around restoration, as I shared the example of lakes, to natural disasters. And then we also do a fair amount of work overseas where we work in STEM education. So both in the US and in the UK, where we work with STEM teachers to make them and enhance their capacity to be better STEM teachers so they can produce better STEM students. So we're working with a consortia of 7 universities in the US. We've had over 450 teachers graduate. It's a 2-year program in the US over the last many years. And we recently, in the last 3 or 4 years, began this program in the UK as well. So that's the effort of the Wipro Foundation. And the AGM Premji Foundation, which is a shareholder like yourself of Wipro as well, has a much broader mandate. Their fundamental focus is on education and working in the poorest, most remote parts of India, working to enhance essentially the capacity of the teachers so that they can produce better students. When we work through 3 means of intervention, we work through efforts on the field where we have about 1,500 people on the ground. We work through the efforts of grant making, and we work through the efforts of a university which offers programs, both masters and undergraduate programs, with a very strong social orientation and social bent of mind. Over the last few years, we've become a strong grant-making organization, so we offer grants in various different areas and of vulnerability, from people with disabilities to domestic violence, to small and marginal farmers, to adolescent girls, etc., etc. And recently, in the last 6 to 8 months, we've had a very strong thrust on healthcare as well as on livelihoods. To your point on both building female representation in the organization, I've already talked about that. I think it's incredibly important. We're at 36.1% overall for the company. Our joining ratio, especially from campus, are 50-50. We're very purposeful and focused about how do we retain people, and so are running programs so we can encourage and enhance the number of women that stay on with us and don't leave when they're making family choices, but have the flexibility of making that choice as well as continuing working in the organization. And, I think our board is quite diverse, but we again remain focused on that. We have 4 directors from overseas. We have 2 women directors on our board of the 6 independent directors. So we have, I think, a fair amount of diversity and representation on our board, but we remain purposeful on that. And thank you for your comments on that. Shashank, I don't want to comment specifically on crypto, but I just want to give you the comfort that new age technologies is an incredibly important area for focus for us. And so we drive this both through our mainstream organization, but also through our CTO function, which is purposefully focused on looking at technologies that can pay off commercially on scale for the company in a long term. So whether it be Web 3.0, the metaverse, crypto, 5G, etc. These are areas that we are investing in for the future, for opportunities as we work with customers. We've just, for example, formalized a metaverse practice within the company as we see more and more opportunities emerging in that space. Mansi, your question, I just want to be clear. We don't acquire companies for growth. It's not a volume play for us. We acquire companies to help us build strategic differentiation in the company. So whether it's helping bring a new capability into the company, and Thierry talked specifically about, some of our acquisitions and Capco and CAS Group, for example, which gave us huge domain and consultative capability in two distinct areas of media and communications and banking and financial services. And also we do it for market access to help us open new geographies where we're perhaps underrepresented or not large enough. So it is not a compensation for growth. It is an enhancement to growth strategically by bringing in new differentiators and new capabilities. Your point on inflation and technology being a discretionary spend, it's interesting in some ways that the technology services industry is at some level recession proof, right? Because in times are good, people are spending on the discretionary side where they're spending on new initiatives and transforming their businesses and serving their customers in this new digital first agenda. And when times are not so good, they focus on reducing costs and transforming their cost side of their business. So, at some level, both elements work well. When things don't work well, like what happened in 2008, when decision making stops, when customers are not making decisions either way. But as long as customers are making decision, the IT services industry, and we feel well placed to participate both on the cost side as well as on the revenue side. So thanks. Sana, do you want to move to the next set?
Yeah, thank you, Rishad. I now request the next set of shareholders, starting with Mr. Manoj Kumar Gupta, to come onto the screen and ask the question, please. Mr. Manoj Kumar Gupta.
Hello, good morning.
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me? Good morning, respected Chairman, Board of Directors, fellow shareholders. My name is Manoj Kumar Gupta. I am equity shareholder of Wipro Limited. I am attending this meeting from my residence, Kolkata. And thanks to your company secretary and his team, especially Mr. Saurav, to help us to join this meeting through video. And I am a great admirer of your father, AGM Premji. I had met him once in my life in 2005 during a CII conference in Calcutta. And मैं उनको नमस्कार करता हूँ और his birthday is on 24th July and I wish to God for his healthy and prosperous, safe, long life. Sir, now I will take 2 or 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. Sir, CSR, you are doing a wonderful job under the CSR policy to serve the community and the society. But I request you to do something in this part of the country, in West Bengal, Odisha, Assam, to serve the community and society under your CSR umbrella. And sir, is there any impact will come through Russia and Ukraine war on our company, direct or indirect? And sir, try to increase the number of female directors, either whole-time director or independent directors. Your business runs in 66 countries. So what's the position in US, Russia, Canada, and Britain? And sir, have you any plan to launch some Wipro campus in Northeast, like as Tripura, Assam, Meghalaya? These are fast growing states now. And in Chhattisgarh, people are coming to Calcutta to take part in your Wipro campus. Why are you not starting a Wipro campus in Chhattisgarh? Raipur, Chhattisgarh is so developed. Now I have seen the face of AGM Premji. I am a great admirer of him. Sir, consumer products and inflation has gone up. So how you face the challenge of inflation in the consumer products? Because everything, raw material prices has gone up by 20% to 30%. How you face that challenge due to high inflation? And healthcare products, how much your market share in your healthcare products like the MRI, CT scan and cath lab? How much your market share? I run to hospital. I've called several times to your people, but they do not turn up to meet us. So that we have gone to buy the Fuji and Philips. And sir, why are you not approaching to build the government portals like as income tax has gone to Infosys, passport gone to TCS? So you should have bid to get the government business. And have you any plan to reduce the number of subsidiaries? The number of subsidiaries is near about 76. So have you any plan to reduce the number of subsidiaries? What's your vision for 2027 if our economy will cross $5 trillion? So what will be your, And thanks for your COVID hospital. Last but last year you have forget us to reward on the eve of 75th year. So how you will reward to the investors and the employees? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. Sunil Jaiswal to come on to the screen and ask his question. Mr. Sunil? Yes, Mr. Sunil, please switch on your audio video. Yeah, can you be a little louder, please? Yeah, please. Go ahead.
ये 3-4 क्वेश्चन थे सर, है ना सर? मेरा फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये है कि एक्चुअली सर विप्रो जो कंपनी है ना सर, ये मतलब सबसे ओल्डेस्ट कंपनी आई थिंक आईटी सेक्टर में ना सर। हम लोग ना मार्केट कैप में सर इन्फोसिस और टीसीएस को कब तक पीछे छोड़ सकते हैं, कब तक पीछे छोड़ जाएंगे? और मेरा सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये है सर, हमारी सर मैं विप्रो बीटेक कर रहा हूँ
सुनील जी,
और कंप्यूटर साइंस इंजीनियरिंग में
सुन नहीं
हमारी
सकते। आपका पहला सवाल
सर नाउ आई एम ऑडिबल?
उसके बाद आप
Yes, yes. Please be a little louder. Can you be closer to your microphone?
सर और मेरा सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये था सर कि मैं सर मेरा सर हेलो आई एम ऑडिबल सर?
बोलो. Yes, please.
हाँ सर, तो मेरा सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये है सर कि हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी में ना सर मतलब कोई बड़ी कंपनियां नहीं आती जैसे सर या विप्रो या टीसीएस इन्फोसिस वगैरह। तो सर मेरा ये रिकमेंड है, आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है सर कि प्लीज विप्रो हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी में आए सर। और मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी का नाम सर श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहब वर्ल्ड यूनिवर्सिटी है सर, ये पंजाब में पड़ती है सर।
Thank you. Thank you for your question, Mr. Sunil. I now request Mr. Ramesh Shankar Golla. Mr. Ramesh Shankar Golla, can you please switch on your microphone and your camera and ask the question, please? Mr. Ramesh? Mr. Ramesh, we are unable to hear you. I now request Mr. Bharat to come on to the screen and ask his question. Mr. Bharat? Bharat, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Bharat, please ask your
Yeah, I'm audible, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, very good. Just a minute, sir. I'm connected with the microphones. Sir, very good morning, Mr. Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Bharat. We are able to hear you.
Very much good morning, entire board of directors. I'm Bharat was calling from Hyderabad. First of all, I'm happy to see all entire team. Sir, I'm congratulating the entire board for a wonderful performance in the financial year, sir. First of all, I'm thank my CEO, sir. He's under his leadership. My company is growing fabulously, sir. I'm very happy, sir, for giving a highest pay in India, sir. Yes, he deserves that salary, sir, because under his leadership, my share price and the dividend part is good, sir. So he deserves for the highest pay, sir. So what is the future plans for the coming year, sir? And respected chairman, since past we are asking for the bonus. Sir, we deserve a bonus, sir, because past 4 years there is no bonus, sir. In the 75th celebration also I requested for the bonus, but we are not deserved, sir. Even in the platinum jubilee also. At least this financial year we expect a bonus from the management, sir. That is the only request. I thank Mr. Khan, Sohail Khan, for his the way he available for 24/7, sir. He is always accessible for us, sir. And his entire team, I thank for arranging a wonderful VC, sir. Once again, chairman and entire board of directors, be happy, be safe, sir, healthy. My best wishes to the entire board of directors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bharat. I now request Dheeraj Jamnani to come onto the screen and ask his question. Mr. Dheeraj? Mr. Dheeraj, are you available?
Hello, I'm in the line.
Yeah, please go ahead with your question.
Sir, I'm in the line. Ramesh Shankar Golla.
Yeah, please go ahead with your question.
Hello. Okay,
Ramesh.
Can I speak?
Yeah, yes. Go ahead, Mr. Ramesh.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And a very good morning to all, sir. Sir, हमारा जो चेयरमैन सर very good person, sir. That is, sir, he's doing in all aspects.
रमेश
Is
जी, आपका
very fine,
क्वेश्चन
sir.
क्या है बताइए. आपका क्वेश्चन बताइए रमेश जी.
A question, sir. Actually, sir, at present, how many clients to added, sir? New clients to Wipro, and is a corporate social responsibility is taking very much good, sir. Our CEO is very good, sir. All board of directors, thanks to you, and the financial performance so good, sir. Very appreciating to all, sir. सर कभी भी मैं बैंगलोर आया तो हमारा जो मैसूर कैंपस एंड बैंगलोर ऑफिस को देखना बोल के मेरे को बहुत चाहता है सर. प्लीज रिक्वेस्ट सर दैट टू सर एडवांस विशेस टू our Azim Premji is the happy birthday wishes.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Ramesh.
Thanks to you all, sir, and have a good day. And sir, lastly, one more question, sir. Is expecting bonus, sir? Please, and raise the dividend, sir. Thank you. From Ramesh Shankar Golla, Hyderabad, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you. So this is the last set of shareholders we have completed.
Okay.
One or two shareholders could not join, but we will close the shareholder question session here. And I request the management team to respond to the last set of questions, please. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Thank you for your admiration for Mr. Premji. He appreciates it. Thank you for your comments on CSR. As you know, we have a campus as Wipro in Kolkata. It's of size and scale, and we continue to invest in that campus. We have no plans to open any new campus at the moment, given the fact that we have capacity in our existing campuses, as well as with the hybrid model, which we hope will be a reality, will also give us an option to be able to incorporate and include people from different locations without having to add new campuses. So there's no plan at the moment of having a new campus. There has been no direct impact of the war on our business. We have no people in Russia or in Ukraine, and we do no business with clients in Russia or in Ukraine. But certainly the rub-off effect of clients that do business in those markets, and that's why both Thierry and I alluded to the element of uncertainty in the environment with the war. But we see no direct impact of the war in our business in terms of our presence there or customers that work in that market. I've already addressed the point on female directors, so I won't repeat that. Our largest market today in the world is the US market. We do about over 55% of revenue in that market. The UK would be our second largest market, and we have a sizable and growing presence in Canada. Both the US, UK, and Canada are incredibly important and strategic markets for us. This is a shareholder meeting for Wipro Limited, which is the IT services company. So I won't comment on the consumer products or the healthcare business here, and you can connect separately and offline for that. I also want you to be assured that we do participate in government business as and where it makes sense for us. As you can appreciate, some of these deals are large and complex, and we have to ensure that we have the ability to deliver these impactfully before we participate. But we participate selectively, but we do participate in government tenders and opportunities. Jatin, maybe you want to quickly talk on the plan to reduce subsidiaries.
Yes. Mr. Manoj, we continue to reduce subsidiaries. The reason you are seeing the increase is because of the acquisitions. Typically, when you acquire a new business, it comes with subsidiaries that they have across the globe. So you are seeing an increase, but every quarter we reduce the subsidiary and the complexity of the structure. Thank you.
Thank you. I also already talked about the vision for 2027, so I won't repeat that as well. Mr. Sunil, thank you for your comments. Our endeavor is to outperform competition like every person who plays in the space, and that continues to remain our endeavor. So we're giving it our best shot. So we don't control market caps, but certainly driving and performing best among our among our peers is a strong, continuous, focused endeavor of the company. We have no plans to open a new university campus, but you can participate as a campus student to apply to a job at Wipro. We have a standard test that's available across the country. Anybody can participate irrespective of the university you go to. And if you clear that exam, you certainly have an opportunity to have a job at Wipro. So I would encourage you to do that. And if you need any more information, you can certainly reach out to our company secretary, Mr. Sanaullah Khan. Mr. Bharat, appreciate your comments on the recognition for Thierry and for all the efforts he and the management team have driven over the last couple of years. And we will take your comment into consideration and keep that in our mind on bonus. The same for you, Mr. Ramesh, you talked about the bonus. And again, thank you very much for all your appreciation on what we've done on CSR and Thierry and the leadership's effort, as well as your comment on the bonus. Certainly, you can also reach out to Mr. Sana on any potential possible visit to our campus in Bangalore or in Mysore. And Jatin, do you want to quickly comment on how many new clients we added last year?
We added 428 new customers in FY22.
Super. Good. Thank you very much. Great. So, all the questions of the people that we were able to connect with, and I'm sorry some of you were not able to connect at the last minute. All the items of business as per the notice of the 76th Annual General Meeting have been taken up. I now declare the proceedings of the Annual General Meeting as completed. As mentioned earlier, the InstaPoll e-voting facility will continue to be available for 30 minutes after this meeting. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and the management of Wipro, I convey our sincere thanks to all the members for attending and participating at this meeting. Please take care of yourselves, stay healthy and stay safe. And thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you.